Hello, hello. Today I want to speak about a very touchy subject about suicide. And I want people to know that the youth, especially on LGBTQIA youth, have it very hard. And I wish that parents would stop saying you're a bad parent just because your child is gay. You're not a bad parent. That doesn't make you a bad parent. But what does make you a parent that throws you out into the lion's den to seek these predators who are out here waiting just to make your child another victim of the streets on drugs or alcohol or pimps or whatever else you might call it, sex trafficking. We need to make sure that we take care of our children. They're human beings. They don't deserve to be treated like leftover trash. Regardless to what you might think, if they're feeling that, they need support. So I'm here to tell all LGBTQIAP we are big in numbers. It is not just you. You are not alone. So I know a lot of people talk about, okay, we have a few stars. No, we are multi-billion strong across the world. This is not just a few of us. You all need to know in America, we're multi-million, probably at a billion. Seriously. Some that are in the closet, some that aren't. Do not feel like you're alone. Suicide is not the answer. Suicide brings tears to many families who go through that. So please, if you're feeling that bad, call the hotline. Please call any hotline. If you want to text and get support, Trevor Project is a wonderful place to get support. You just need to know you're not alone. There are so many people who have had their children had to bury them because they find them hung or suicidal. We don't want you to be the next one. So please, please, we're reaching out to you now. If you have a story that you'd like to share, please post it on my syndicate channel. Please post it on YouTube because there's so many parents out there that need to know they're not the only ones because their child took their life. There's so many of us who fight and advocate for the LGBTQ community, and we want you to know you're not alone. You are not alone. Mental health, you're not alone. Whether you're straight, you're not alone. There are battles out here that you fight every day. People don't see the invisible diseases that people have. They don't see it, so they don't believe it. And they just say, oh, that person's crazy, or I don't want her or him around me. Believe you me, you have a family that loves you. You have a community. Mental health community is huge. Your family members, some of them might not be blood. Some of them are just friends who generally care about you, who will walk through a puddle. You would walk through a mountain. You would go over that mountain for someone. But you know what? A lot of your family or friends wouldn't even jump over a puddle for you. It's time for you to make sure that you surround yourself with a group of people that will make sure that you're loved and cared about. I mean, it just makes sense to do that. It's like, why would anybody ever do anything different? You have to be able to get some acceptance, some courage, and figure out, do I need medication? If I do, where do I get it? Do I just need some temporary medication to help me get over a loved one's death? Is it okay if I need some medication because I've given birth and I have a disease? And I don't have a disease, really. It's just a mental health issue where I don't feel like being a parent. Being on medicine is not a black or Puerto Rican thing or a white thing. It's a everyone's thing. And if more people would accept reality, we'd have a lot less people in prison. We'd have a lot less people gone. And we would have a lot more support. They say that refugees and people coming from other countries, they don't need help. But until you've walked a mile in their shoes, you should not judge because you don't know what it's like to be hungry. A lot of us do. A lot of us here as Americans do. You do know what it's like to be hungry. You do know what it's like to be abused. There are plenty of American people that go through the same stuff that other countries go through. Maybe not as extreme, but it's still abuse. Abuse is abuse. I want to be that voice that shines through, that shows you there are supportive people, there are mentors, there are peers. Please pick up the phone, call your loved ones, make sure they're okay. I recently had multiple friends pass, and it is hard. It is hard. It is hard. And I'm going to let you know if you need help, reach out. I inbox people, I message people, I Facebook, I Pinterest, I Twitter. I do things like that. That's my way of advocating. You know, not everyone has a big platform to advocate, but I do. I do the best that I can when I can. If people focus on their abilities and less on their disability, you'd be able to do a lot of good things. And I feel like I've done a lot of good things, and maybe no one sees it, but I see it. She tells me every day, you're doing better and better. And that makes me smile. And it's something that all communities need to start discussing. We need that. We need reform. We need prison reform. We need social reform. We need the welfare from the big corporations reform. You know, it just seems like the little guy is taking all the beatings, whereas they're still getting welfare for corporations. And it's not even near what regular people get. You know, when you get a job and you make a little more money and they think, oh, you're rich, let me cut you off of food assistance. That's wrong. Does anyone else believe that's wrong? Please post on here. Let me hear from you what you would do if you were the president. I mean, because me, I would give you stamps for at least 2 to 3 years to get yourself up and ready to be able to continue to live and get accustomed to the lifestyle you live. Food is not cheap. Housing, all of that. You need that for years. You can't just, okay, one day you get a house, one day you get paid, you're able to rent, but you're not able to feed your kids. Which one do you take? Quit the job and get back on welfare, or work and have a house but no food in the cabinets? You know, and even if you go to the pantries, they're not giving enough. You know, although I must say and put out there that Kindness Matters was one of the most important, enlightened thing that I've seen in a long, long time. I have never, ever experienced something quite like that. And that was in Maple, Ohio. I've never seen anything like that. Organizations coming together and give. A lot of times what you see when people give stuff, the people in charge get whatever they want first. And they barely give you anything anyway. So you're standing in line for an hour and you're still not going to get very much. With this organization, they gave. You wanted an extra box of cereal? They gave it to you. Just asking. And the people there were kind. How often do you go to a place that is giving you something and they're kind? Let's be very serious and real. From the job and family services workers, I don't know if they're just tired, they're sick of their jobs. It's hard. It's hard because people stress you out. You know, they're thinking, oh, you can get off your job and stand in line to go get a paper. Your boss will understand. When you just started a new job, how do you expect them to get that paperwork to you? And if you don't, then they cut you off. I mean, it's a no-win situation, and there has to be something done where corporations expect you to get a break if you are on public assistance, because if you don't, you have to quit your job. They don't want you taken off to do some mandatory thing that they don't even understand because they're not on public assistance. They don't want that. These are things that, you know, Trump, you're saying you're so great and you can fix things. Why aren't we looking at these things? Do you have a plan? Does anyone out there in America also have a plan? Because I would love to hear it. Daycare, that is a corrupt system. Let's keep it real. You get a daycare voucher, okay? Once you get a job, you turn in your slip, then you get a daycare voucher. You don't just get a daycare voucher. Does that make any sense to you? That you have to try and find people to watch your kid for the first 2 weeks free just so that you can get a daycare voucher? That makes no sense whatsoever. And then let's say you get this daycare voucher. You're supposed to, right off the rip, start paying money, even though you've just worked maybe 2 weeks. So you got to start giving money from that. I know people are like, well, you got to pay, you got to pay. But has anyone thought, like, daycare is serious? That is a large bill. And we need to really keep parents on it to give them that leg up. Quit making them pay so much. I know to a lot of people you'll say, okay, well, I pay $1,000 a week. When I was taking my kids to school, I had to pay that $1,300 a week for daycare. So I understand. But at the same time, if a person's really trying to improve their health and their family and succeed in this world, they need breaks. And you asking for money every time you turn around, that makes it impossible. And all these documents that they want you to bring in, who is going to give you time to get it off? Why don't they have a night version of job and family services for the people that work? So at least you could get off work, go there, yes, unfortunately, with your kids who are hungry, tired. So that's going to be another issue. But go there and turn in your documents, because no boss wants you off the job when they can find someone else who will do the work. So we need a lot of different things answered. And don't get me started on CMHA. CMHA, I would be on here for an hour, but I'm not going to go there. But I'm reaching out because I'd like to hear some other people's, what would they do if you were president? If you could change some things about jobs and family services, and if you could change some things about our mental health system, what would you do? Gun control. I mean, I think a simple gun control would be just to have background checks. I don't think that's anything that's too much. But I just wanted to go over that, a few items and let people know you're not alone. You are not alone. We have a huge family, international and right here nationwide. You are not alone. You're not alone, and you're not alone. And parents, you're struggling with your children being gay, go to PFLAG, get into a meeting, get some support, okay? Because it's not the end of the world. People do have families that are gay, and life just keeps going. So, and we'd like it to go with you all, All right, that's my story for the day.